Stories are everywhere. They're hidden in the conversations that you casually have in airports, bookstores, hotels, in the office, even at your favorite grocery store. And stories sometimes show that the hidden story is really inside of ourselves. Today I'm going to show you how to see those stories in places and people that you've walked past hundreds of times. Have you ever noticed how an ordinary place can suddenly feel different if you change certain factors? Say, for instance, a new person shows up at your coffee shop. You're on a crowded train platform. You see a woman waiting at the elevator after a long workday. Romance doesn't only live in books. It lives in moments. And some of the most memorable love stories begin in places we barely even notice. Hello, friends. I'm S.W. Baylis, romance author, storyteller, traveler, and sometimes professional observer of people. Welcome back to How to See Stories in the World Around You, the series where we discover how ordinary experiences become unforgettable love stories. Before we begin, remember to like this video and subscribe, especially if you enjoy thoughtful conversations about storytelling, romance, travel, emotional intelligence. Okay, so today, let's look at places such as office, the hotels, restaurants, even your sidewalks, where the story contains the beginning of a complete romance plot. The story may already be there. We simply have to notice it. Okay, so I've been wondering something lately. Why do certain ordinary places make us more aware of the people around us? Say, for instance, a hotel lobby is not inherently romantic. Neither is the office hallway or a commuter train. But each place creates emotional conditions. Romance writers sometimes call this setting energy, the feeling a location produces before a character even speaks. Think about it. An office can create ambition and competition. A crowded train station can create urgency and separation. A bookstore can create curiosity. Even your favorite restaurant can create intimacy. The setting begins shaping the emotional story before the characters even understand what is happening. And that's intentional. It's very intentional. Everyday encounters. Have you ever noticed how much people reveal without saying anything? The woman adjusting her scarf before she enters an important meeting. The man that removes his glasses and rubs his eyes after a difficult, long day. Even the traveler sitting alone in a hotel lounge, writing in a leather notebook. Think about a colleague that you may remember who knows exactly how different people in the office take their coffee. Or the stranger who holds an elevator door open, even though that person is running late. Emotional intelligence begins with attention. It means noticing tone, body language, hesitation, the small changes that happen when someone feels seen. I myself, as a Black woman, I know many of other women who are accustomed to moving through the world prepared. We plan, we lead, we anticipate, we handle what needs to be handled. But a meaningful story often begins when a character encounters someone who recognizes what exists underneath that competence. Not someone who rescues her, that's someone who notices her. The subtle shift changes everything. Think about that. Through observation, imagine the people moving through one of these ordinary spaces that we talked about earlier. Let's say our heroine has just completed a long day of negotiations. She's composed but tired. She is wearing a structured blazer from the Banana Republic, tailored trousers, and a silk scarf reminiscent of an Hermès scarf. She has sunshades that are tucked in her handbag, perhaps some Ray-Bans or Tory Burch, and she carries a leather Smythson notebook filled with meeting notes, private observations, or just fragmented stories she has never shown anyone. Her Montblanc pen rests between the pages. She's not waiting for anybody in particular. She's simply allowing herself 5 quiet moments in the lobby of, let's say, a Marriott, a Hilton, or even the Ritz-Carlton before returning to the life she has carefully built. Nearby, our hero notices her. If you will, think about that scene in Waiting to Exhale when Angela Bassett is sitting at the hotel bar and Wesley Snipes' character can't help but notice her. In our imagination, our hero is a guest at the hotel. Or maybe he works in the same industry as the lady sitting at the bar. They cross paths early in the day and disagree during a presentation, maybe. Maybe he recognizes the book in her hand. She could have a romance novel. Let's say something from Francis Ray or L.A. Banks. This setting quietly becomes a third character. The setting nudges them closer through a delayed interaction. It could even be like a misplaced room key, a power outage during a storm, a shared table near the bar, a quick conversation about the book that she's holding. Maybe he even talks to her about a scent of her perfume. Nothing is arranged. Everything is just kind of impromptu. It has the feeling of possibility. Okay, so let's take it further. Have you ever noticed how some films transform workplaces and cities into emotional landscapes? For whatever reason, Working Girl comes to mind. It's the office, the elevator, the commuter movements, the tailored clothing, and corporate ambition are not simply background details of the movie. They reveal how the main character, Tess, is becoming. The professional environment creates pressure, aspiration, conflict, and the possibility of what she can become. The movie story asks whether she can claim the life she wants without disappearing inside the expectations surrounding her. Another movie, Sleepless in Seattle. The settings, Seattle, Baltimore, the airports, the radio broadcasts, the Empire State Building, they all create emotional distance and longing. The hero and the heroine of the movie spend much of the story apart, but the places between them carry the romance. The city becomes the emotional promise. The same sense of emotional place appears in romance fiction. Some of my favorite writers, Francis Ray created stories where accomplished black characters move through professional environments, they have family expectations, and the story is emotionally layered. Another favorite author of mine is L.A. Banks. I love how she brought atmosphere, intensity, identity, and emotional stakes to the world she created, and the settings often carry their own power. These stories remind me that atmosphere is not decoration, it's emotional architecture. The location influences what the characters believe is possible. Think about that. Affected. This is where romance stories start. This is that space and time that you long for when you're reading, as well as when you're writing. Okay, so we've had a lot to think about. And I would like or love for you to try this weekend, to think about walking through a familiar place, maybe more slowly. It could be any place, a bookstore, the grocery store, your favorite cafe. And notice who appears confident and who appears tired. What are their clothes saying? How do they communicate? How does it identify this person? What does their aura say about them? What specific details about them speak to you? What makes you think, hey, this person could be this, or they do that? What is it about them that you pay attention to? Is it their glasses? Is it the way their shoes look? Maybe they're new tennis shoes. Maybe they're ultra polished shoes. Maybe they have travel directions and it's the way they're looking at it. Maybe you see a man buying a bouquet of flowers as a gift. It's the little things that catch your attention. And for readers, this explains why certain scenes feel emotionally true. For writers, it creates characters who feel lived in rather than assembled. Observation becomes character. Character becomes emotion. Emotion becomes a story. This is the foundation of my novels, the courses I'm developing, and the conversations we're building through the Texas Professional Romance Universe. I would welcome you to check out my books and stories at swbaylis.com. And I would also like to see you in the next video. So until we meet again next time, enjoy. And please pay attention to the small details around you because the stories are everywhere.